Hey everyone, it's Will, Gamer Dad, with another video for you. So hopefully most of you have already caught the AE Global official channel's live stream today, or if you follow other languages, of course, there's also the simultaneous release of the live streams to Japan or the other channels. That being said, this, I'll say, in-game update, it really is a small teaser to what is coming in the next week or so. And if you haven't caught the huge news, we are doing a collab with the Tales of again. And so we'll have 4 new characters. They will be free. I believe they will be 5 stars. And of course, all you have to do is play it. Download the game if you haven't already. Now, I hope there are some of you who are just watching this video and new to the channel. And honestly, I hope you are new to the game as well, because, you know, this game, Another Eden, is a great game. It can be played as a free-to-play. It can be played as a pay-to-win, or something in between. And in that sense, we will start off the video. Now, in tonight's episode of Should You Summon, we will discuss the 2 banners that was mentioned to drop tonight. Again, this is an in-game update. I don't think you have any downloads or anything. You just log right in, and it should be right there on our current version 2.14.200. The newest update will, of course, be 2.14.300, which will be next week. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. I also do have a Patreon account for those who want to support me that way. First of all, we do have the Twin Destinies encounter. Again, both of these special banners are only one time, and note that they are very limited in time. They are actually meant to be used before the update next week. So note that this is expiring as of 3 p.m. December 19th, 2022 UTC time. So for us in North America, that would be, honestly, I believe just Sunday. I'm not even sure if it lasts until Monday. But that being said, check it out. Make sure you use this banner if you're going to. Otherwise, it will disappear. Again, for those who are new to the game, this one unfortunately does require 1,000 paid stones. That being said, there is actually a special one-time deal that you can buy 1,000 paid stones for, for me, 850 Canadian. For people in the US or other countries, relatively inexpensive compared to the normal rate. So you can buy it in order to take advantage of this or other paid banners, and we'll discuss that shortly. So, this is a special banner where you get a guaranteed 5-star, which is the most powerful units in the game, the highest class of character. There are no 6 stars in this game, of course. And the special thing about this banner is, if you do use the paid banner, which is 1,000 paid stones, on the 9th and 10th pulls, you will have a guaranteed 5-star, and they actually are from the specific classes of another style, which is called AS, as well as extra style, which is ES. And so you can see on the brackets 1.56% chance. If you do the math, that works out to about 64 different 5 stars out there that fall under the AS and ES. Okay, and so you can say AS Radius, for example, AS Kikyo. ES will be under certain units that have both an AS and an ES form. For example, Claude right there, Magnarex would be their AS form, Kale would be their ES or extra style. And so they are essentially the same unit with different costumes, so to speak, as well as different abilities. Usually the ES or extra style ones tend to be a little bit more powerful, being that they were released later on. For example, Sukiya right here with another one, and there's a few other exceptions. Of course, my waifu Suzette also has her Lucifer, which is the ES. And some of these 4 stars, they can be directly upgraded to 5-star AS forms only. They don't have a normal style 5-star, the Soras, Odahas, Akanes, and so on and so forth. And unfortunately, there are filler units in these banners, which are 3-star bots, Rainbow Sisters Knights. They are not upgradable and therefore are unfortunately just garbage, which belongs in the garbage. Now, that being said, should you summon? Now, normally, my views on the Twin Destinies encounter, because they come relatively rarely, usually paid banners only guarantee 1 5-star. And any banner that guarantees at least 2, remember you can actually get more than 2, but they guarantee at least 2. And they actually pick from the pool of AS and ES characters. You're generally getting a better bang for your buck because not only are you getting 2 for 1, you're getting access to some of the more powerful characters because one thing that newer players may not know, generally the AS and ES forms are more powerful than their original normal style forms. That is not always the case, but it can be the case in many situations. And not only that, AS and ES forms tend to be released later than the normal style forms, which means they can kind of keep up with current metas or current power creeping. For example, on the banner right here, you can see Yukino AS, for example, Cynthia AS, Sora AS, ES Claude, as well as AS Byakuya, which is, I believe, is our newest AS unit. So again, normally I would say auto summon as long as you're willing to pay the 1,000 paid stones, or use a paid subscription ticket, which you get one free paid pull per month, beginning that you're paying money already for it. However, the problem now is that with all of the different news that's come out from Japan, and knowing that we are getting the main story part 3 coming up in, I'm guessing within a couple of months here. If you check on the Another Eden Global wiki, it actually does indicate what kind of upcoming banners and units you're expecting. And there are a ton of really powerful ones. Not only that, but we can see from today's live stream that they can really surprise us with some big surprises. Again, spoiler ahead, on the Japanese live stream, they announced a new altar unit, which is Hismena, and that is obviously going to drop next week at the same time as the Tails Collab. So knowing that WFS can throw us a curveball, and these last few banners and the banners coming up are going to be all pretty powerful, and you actually have to pick and choose what you are going to spend your money on. If you are limited in paid money and you don't want to spend a lot on the game, I would only summon on the Twin Destinies encounter if you're really new to the game. So if you've just downloaded it, you like what you see, you enjoy it, and you've read the Discords, the Reddits, and kind of researched the game, and you really like to spend the money, support the devs, this is an auto summon for you. If your account is less than a year old, you probably don't have a vast number of units in the game. And so again, if your new account based up to a year, I would imagine that unless you've spent a lot of money already, this will also help round out your account. Again, 2 5-stars, some of which are newer, being that you get access to both new and old AS and ES units. Not bad for your buck. And so on the downside, if you're a mature account, such as myself, been playing from day one, 3 or 4 years in, only missing a handful of units, this one, as much as it is tempting, is probably not the most optimal for you. With 1,000 paid stones, either through the Heaven subscription or through the starter kit where you have 1,000 paid stones and you're saving, you're better off using that 1,000 paid stones for what they call a Star Dream encounter, which is not available yet, but we assume that it will drop in the next couple months. And what that is a guaranteed 5-star selector. That means whichever one unit you want out of everything that they allow you to, and they usually have a cutoff that's only a couple of banners before the kind of like the newest update. You can choose any unit you want to round out your team, and in that sense, that's a lot more valuable than getting 2 random 5-stars. Not only that, but unfortunately, even with the vast majority of these AS and ES units being kind of cool, new, close to the meta and so on and so forth, there are older AS and ES units, and some of them are not as powerful as they used to be, or in some cases, just were never powerful. For example, I'll name a few. AS Elga, not useful, unfortunately. AS Felmina, pretty crappy off the bat. There's a few other ones. I mean, I could go down the list. Even AS Claude, unfortunately, at this point is really power crept. His ES is pretty good, but his AS one is just not good. And so there is definitely some downside in being exposed to units that are a little bit older. So again, in conclusion, if you're relatively new to the game, less than a year old, or even brand new to the game, very, very good value. If you're late game and you have almost everyone, not good value. There is an in-between though. if you're a paid player and you're like Dolphin or higher, and you want to summon for light or shadow to round out your units to 255, or just get more light and shadow, you are getting 216 light or shadow AS or ES 5-star units, which can help you hit those, the 80, 120, 200 kind of cutoffs that will make your units a lot more powerful. And in that sense, it is still worth your bang to your buck. All right, so hopefully that gives you some ideas as to what to expect with the Twin Destinies encounter. Now, what if you're not a paid player? Even if you're not a paid player, and I am a testament to that as a free-to-play player, you can still be very successful in the game, and this banner is one of those kind of banners that can give you some access to that. So, this is called a Brilliant Encounter. Again, one time only, only until 3 p.m. December 19th UTC. Again, either Sunday or Monday for us in North America. Normally, 10 pull, which is like 1,000 free stones, does not guarantee you anything at all. You can get, all it guarantees you is a 4-star, and that 4-star may be a filler unit which has no ability to progress in the game. It's capped at 4 stars, cannot be 5 stars, cannot be higher than level 60, and the cap is level 80, and so some of these units are just kind of dead ends, so to speak. Other units are actually upgradable to 5 stars. This game is really, really good for free-to-plays in that you can use and pull what they call a 4.5. That is a 4-star that has a 5-star version. And without using any additional money or stones, you can actually grind it out in the game. I don't consider it very difficult, although in the very beginning, if you first started the game, you will have obviously a tough time doing it. Once you've been playing for a while, the materials that you need to upgrade the units come fairly regularly, and I would argue that they are definitely not a barrier once you hit the end game, except for certain situations. So this banner guarantees a 4.5 unit or better. That is something you can automatically eventually upgrade to a 5-star if you have the materials, or in some cases, the units that have AS and ES styles, if you hit the normal version of it, you can just pay materials and get each of those uniforms, which each of it has their own unique abilities for free. So you can see that the list includes some of the more recent units, Alma, Orlea, Flam, Eva, and so on and so forth. A lot of these units are extremely powerful and still meta. There's obviously other ones older here, so on and so forth. But note they are 1.55% on average. Some are 1.37. The newest units are 1.37 essentially, and the oldest units are essentially 1.70 or so. So on average, considering that around 1.55% for each, you have about 64, 65 different 4.5s that you can hit. And so in this case, you're paying a banner for a 1 in a 64 chance of getting a particular unit. Obviously, how I recommend doing this is to count the number of units that you're missing any form from. Now, in the case of you being a completely brand new player, and if you are, again, welcome to another Eden. This is, again, an auto summon. The reason why is that you will hit something that at least is guaranteed over other banners where you don't have to get anything that's better than a 4-star. This will at least give you something that may be upgradable to something viable. You may miss, but if you're talking about like 1 in 64, 1 in 65, we're not just talking about you're only looking for one unit. There are quite a few units that are still in today's meta. You can see actually a few of these up front. The top left there is Flintup Melopis. There's Orlea on the top right, Alma on the bottom left, Eva in the middle, and Daisy on the right, which of the 5 will probably be weakest, although not even useless. I mean, there are other really powerful ones. And remember that even for example, some of the newest units out there, like Claude and Biaka, you can hit a 4.5 and save and grind out those materials to get the newest units, which is, AS Biaka, or you can grind out the materials to get ES Claude, and so on and so forth. These are so new; they're still in the game, right? So, again, as a new player, perfect. And I think right now they're running a campaign where if you're new and download the game, you should have 1,000 stones right off the bat. Perfect chance to use it on here. I don't usually recommend re-rolling, so I know there's a lot of people who say, oh, you can re-roll and try to get a better unit and so on and so forth. You're going to have enough stones as you play through the game. There are a lot of different achievements, and you get a decent, I'll say a small amount of daily logins, but over time you can definitely save it up. You will have enough stones to kind of summon and eventually get a bunch of different units. Not only that, as a free player or a new player, you will have access to eventually getting the free units, all of which are still pretty useful. There are main story characters and plenty of collab characters, including 2 versions of the Tales of. There is the Persona 5, 2 episodes of that. There is the Complex Dream, of course. Great amount of free stuff. And of course, you can beat everything in the game with free units. There are plenty of different YouTube channels that have demonstrated strategies to beat everything in the game, all the super bosses, optional content, and so on and so forth. Even if you miss on banners like this, you don't have to be worried about the game kind of locking you out, whereas I'm sure some other gacha games can definitely prevent you from finishing stuff. This is definitely very viable as a free-to-play, and this banner is a perfect example. Or, like I said, if you spend some money, this is also some very great value, provided you want to do the aforementioned things like adding light, or if you're new to the game. Now, one thing I will say as a veteran, as you are missing very few units, remember, it's only 1 in 64 chance of hitting any particular 4.5. So for you veterans out there who are only missing a handful of units, I mean, you have to count which units are you missing that you actually want. For example, say you're missing, 10 units. You can say, okay, Will, you're missing 10 out of 64. That's a 10 out of 64 chance of getting something that you need. Do you really need it? What if you're missing, like, I don't know, like Lovely? If you're missing Lovely, that may not even want to be counted as one of the 10 or something that you want, because if you hit it, will you be happy or disappointed, right? So in general, if you're a late game player, played for a couple of years, missing only a handful of units, as much as this is tempting to you, probably a pass, because unless you're rich in terms of saving and passing all these banners, like you say you had 30, 40, 50k in stones that you've saved up over the years, you're going to get broke, unfortunately, over the next few months, because there are banner after banner after banner, all of which are very, very tempting, and, really have to classify each banner as to, best how to utilize stones. That's not to say brilliant encounters aren't worth it. After all, how often do you get a banner that you get a free 4.5 or better, right? If you're wondering, I am planning to summon on the Brilliant Encounter, but note the number of stones I have in my possession. I have 18,000 stones, which puts me in, I won't say in safe region, as you've probably seen from my previous summons on Eva and Flam. However, it puts me in that range where, if I spend 1,000 here, we are getting anywhere from 3,000 to 4,000 free over the next few weeks. Increased logins, extra bonuses, and social media events, and so on and so forth. But we are saving for main story part 3. There are certain characters there that we all want. There is possibly a global first unit in a couple of months. I will want to save for that. And any weird things that come down the road, like what if there's a new altar for a unit I don't have, or something like that where they are so meta defining that I need them, right? And so if you think about it, if I even need 3 units, what is 6,000 stones on each of those banners? Easily get broke, easily miss as well, right? And so, I am still planning to spend 1,000 stones, why not? But, I'm not naive enough to think that's a lot of stones I have in my account. Anyways, sorry for the long drawn out, discussion. I know there are players who are new, as well as players who have been playing for a number of years. So unfortunately, this was more of a primer to kind of discuss all the different aspects, to various people in the various stages of the game. So let me know in the comments below what you're planning to do with this banner. Are you planning to summon a Brilliant, Twin Destinies, or both? Or are you so broke, unfortunately, that you'll have to pass? So anyways, hopefully you can pass off this week. Get a lot of rest, because next week's going to be massive update. Lots of things to do, lots of cool things. I'm imagining there's going to be secret quests. I know that they've hinted on things like finding owls. There'll be probably super bosses that are hidden. And Christmas time is here too, so I'm sure a lot of you are going to be busy with family and other events as well. Anyways, Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.